I can say it. Let's move on to the next topic right here. This was about to lose her mind. All right. Next up, I asked everybody to please join me in watching the Scream 6 trailer. And the first message I got was, I'll watch it, but I ain't going to the damn movie on it.
That's exactly what I said. That's
what this one right here said. Did everybody see it?
You didn't tell me to watch it.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. My bad. So,
he just likes torturing me.
Yeah,
but I've seen all the Scream movies, so I'll watch this one.
I won't watch them.
But what did you think about? So this did you didn't see the last one at all? Did you see any of the Scream movies?
I think I've seen the first one, which was what in
90 something.
I was going to say 94, but I was like, that's too early.
95, maybe 6.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. No, I do not know how to get this across to you so that you will grasp it and understand this bit of information. But I truly do not find entertainment in horror or scary, intense, or like grotesquely torturous movies. I do not find them entertaining. It does nothing but create anxiety for me. I have nightmares. It is literally a horrible time for me. I don't enjoy it.
Something, a good observation that came from Navigator Nixon, though, was it's interesting, though. How did she say it, Nixon? How Tabs can watch Keanu Reeves in John Wick doing all of that stuff, and literally the things he did in those movies were more horrific than any of the Scream movies.
No, I disagree. So Scream is there to create a terror in you, okay? It's there to create an anxiety, a fear.
Yes.
John Wick is not in that for
He
that.
is literally the boogeyman.
No. He's called the boogeyman
He's
from
Baba motherfucking Yaga.
by the other bad people.
Exactly.
So he is there. He is an anti-hero. I am a sucker for an anti-hero.
It's just because it's Keanu Reeves.
He is protecting.
If Keanu Reeves was Ghostface, she'd be watching the movie.
First of all, I would not, because I don't like the setup of. I think Scream's a horrible storyline. I do not like it to begin with. 2. It is completely different. He is trying to protect his dog. Every lesbian's gonna love that. He's trying to protect and create a promise that he made to his dead wife. Talking to a widow, all about that.
there's love, loyalty, and things like that going on in the Scream franchise. You should have seen Scream 3.
Love of terror.
There's some revenge.
That's no. I'm sorry. It is completely different.
No,
it is different.
I can't. Look, if you can go into a library and brutally put a book in a dude's mouth and beat him to death,
who is already bad. These people.
A lot of the people in the Scream movies that got killed were all some of them were some assholes.
Let's talk about the first one. They were all basically children, teenagers. I don't want to watch a movie about people trying to kill teenagers. We're talking about another movie where they just killing other bad guys.
Some of those guys that got killed were some jerks. The Fonz, he threatened to suspend those kids, man. He had to go. But the major question that came up with, I just felt like if you can stomach a pencil in the head, then you can.
So I really still don't like seeing the fight. Like, I like actually the technicality and the agility of like Kill Bill and John Wick of the fight scenes. I truly don't like watching people get hurt, but I don't have an attachment to the characters who are getting hurt in those movies because they're the bad guys. When you go to horror and scary movies, they force a connection with the people who are going to get hurt. And I don't like that's not a recipe
that you don't. It's not entertainment. It's subjective, and if you don't like it, you don't love it. But the question that came up with because this was always Neve Campbell's franchise. Yeah. And this was the first time now that Neve Campbell will not be starring in it because she was right. I mean, usually when there's a sequel and there's even in television when there's a season 2, season 3, your pay starts to go up because if you're renewing a show or if you're making a sequel, that's usually because a profit was made. And if after all these years, Neve Campbell's saying that she's still getting close to the equivalent of what she was getting paid when she first started, and then in other franchises, dudes be getting all kinds of crazy money, and this is a profitable franchise. She's like, no, I'm not going to be in the next one, and I don't blame her. And I'm not saying that they predicted because Hollywood, we usually see actors get hot and we think these guys came out of nowhere. Hollywood vets people way longer than we realize it on other things. There's a bunch of things we don't see that producers and people in the business see. I think they gambled and they thought, okay, we're not going to have Neve Campbell, but this Jenna Ortega may be. I think they gambled. They took a risk, and I don't feel like the risk was going to pay off until when this movie came out. I mean, Jenna did a good job in part 5. I believe it was when Wednesday caught fire that they realized, whoo, There's nothing to worry about for Scream 6. We still got Courtney Cox, and Jenna Ortega is on fire right now. I feel like at this point right now, I'm not saying that what Neve Campbell did was a mistake. I'm saying now there's less of an incentive to give Neve Campbell they're going to give Jenna Ortega a pay increase too. But Neve Campbell 5 movies? Neve Campbell is deserving of a way more than anybody. She's the face of this franchise. I think now they're happy to start over with a new actor. They're going to give her more money too, but they're probably saving money what they technically owe to Neve Campbell. I think they feel like now that they made the best bet. I feel like now this is now about to become Jenna Ortega's franchise.
Do you really? I see. Okay, maybe because I don't watch the Screams and I don't enjoy it. I don't have this sort of predisposition of its success. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't think that these movies are incredibly successful. I like in a fame aspect.
I mean, there's these types of movies don't have. I mean, don't have a lot of special effects and things like that. So these types of movies are usually produced with what the equivalent in comparison to Avengers Endgame. This is pocket change.
Okay, so we're talking about profit in the sense of
a movie like this that only costs $50 million to make, if that makes anywhere over $100 million.
You're their success.
They're like, yes.
But like horror, when you're talking about like, they're like, woo, Wednesday did great. I don't necessarily see, maybe it's just because I don't like the Scream. So this could very well be that I can't see it. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily see Wednesday's success.
I mean, her as an actor person is trending. She's trending.
She's trending, but I don't think that that's going to hold the same level of pull for this movie like Neve Campbell would. Because like you said, she was across, people knew this movie because of her. This, like you said, was her friend, just like Courtney Cox. And so I just feel like I think it was a mistake for them to not provide Neve Campbell what she rightfully deserved to be in this movie. I think that was a big mistake for something that I don't feel is a very successful movie. I know that we're talking in the sense of, what you spent versus what you make, but if we're talking about in the success of movies, I don't think it's, in my personal opinion, and this is going to be one of those ones where I don't think it's going to do well.
You're in a way right and wrong. Neve Campbell has a huge, a great resume. I even loved her in the TV shows that like House of Cards and stuff like that. She's been in a lot of things, and she was not wrong with what she technically deserves because of the draw that she would. People watch these movies to see Sydney go through it. When the announcement that she wasn't going to be on it, everybody almost across the board had the same feeling, like, oh, this is going to be bad for the French. It's not going to work. But I also think that everybody's fears of whether or not the movie was going to work without the Sydney character evaporated a little bit after because the pop of, and I'm gonna call it a pop like it's a wrestling term, the pop of Jenna Ortega's popularity, not only. I mean, I feel like it could almost draw in new fans who are just coming in just to see her.
Versus
and
the nostalgia.
Versus. There's still going to be some loyalists to the Scream movies, not just necessarily Neve Campbell. That's going to come no matter what, like me. But I think Jenna Ortega now, with her new following, can bring in some numbers that might also either balance it out or possibly might exceed.
Do you want to know something honestly, though? I didn't even know she was in this movie until you...
She was in part 5. This is part 6.
I didn't even know she was in part 5.
And that's my point. I liked Jenna Ortega's performance in the second season of You that we saw? I know you don't watch it. That. But I noticed her, and I could tell, I said, she's good. But she didn't get a pop. She was good in that. She was funny. She was like a kick-ass, like take no nonsense, kind of a smart mouth, sarcastic girl. But when Wednesday came out, I was like, oh, that's... And because Scream 5 came out first, it was still focused on Neve Campbell in the old school cast mostly. Spoiler alert: there's fewer of the legacy characters alive now. So, somebody is gone. So now, not only that, now Neve Campbell, her character's still alive, but she's not even in the movie. Now you got one legacy character that's in this upcoming movie. I honestly don't think that Courtney Cox is going to make it. I honestly feel like the producers are weaning off of the legacy characters and moving on to a new set.
Like they're trying
to
create a transition.
This movie is going to be the transition. I think the last movie was the beginning of the. I think that was always the plan.
There is a time though when you should stop making the same damn movie.
No, it's not. Not when it's profitable. That's people always make
like
that.
The Fast and the Furious crap. I'm like, how many times can we watch the same movie?
Make them stop making $1 billion and they'll stop.
It's like.
People make that argument a lot, that there's no new movies in Hollywood. They don't want to make original content. People go back and look at the movies that came out in 2022, 2021, 2020. There is more original content every year than just sequels. It always happens.
That's not my complaint.
But what happens is they just don't get viewed as many times as the sequels.
Yeah, my complaint, I like the new stuff. I want to see new storylines. I want to see new things. I don't even mind seeing something like this if it is a new concept. What I hate, and it's just me, is when it goes so long that it gets to the point of like Fast and Furious. Like, that is just too many ways that people can get in a car and try to steal something and race down the street. I'm just done.
You agree with that, babe? Even in the trailer that we watched, you said you didn't see it. Courtney Cox herself in the trailer said, "You're like the 10th mother effer that tried this shit." I mean, that's one of the
and
brilliant.
He's like, I'm different.
Yeah, but even through the trailer, you could tell something. I have a theory of who he might be, and it's not Nev Campbell. I have a theory of why.
How funny would that be? She comes back for number 7.
I've always said she should have snapped a long time ago. I've always said that. But I have a feeling who it might be. But
God, and then you can play the TikTok sound. I'm the problem, it's me.
But he said, that would be funny. But that's what Ghostface said in the trailer. That's what Courtney Cox said, and that's why I think, because we saw a lot of Courtney Cox in that trailer. That's why I think she's dead. I think she dies in that scene. Like, you are he said, "Oh, if you come in this room, I got this gun waiting for you." Yeah. I'm gonna
I'm still curious though how she shot through the freaking door. And this is why I don't.
Because he wasn't stupid enough to be standing in front of it.
But he was standing right there whenever
But go back to the trailer. She announced that she had a gun.
So what? She was so far back and shooting through a door. She still had bullets in her gun, obviously, because she barreled off.
Oh, you're talking about when he burst through.
Yeah, when he burst through.
Yeah,
like,
no,
okay,
I thought you were saying.
All those bullets?
Yeah, of course. Because he's probably, this Ghostface has probably studied her. Courtney Cox's character has become a no. If you would have loved it in part 5, her and Nev Campbell's made that kind of a comment when one of the killers was pretending to be wounded, like, "Oh, can you help me?" And then Nev Campbell was like, "You believe this bitch? No, she's the killer." It was no nonsense with that. That was one of the things I appreciated about part 5.
Did you got it? Double tap it.
But I know you haven't seen the trailer. But what do you think about my theory about Jenna Ortega? Are you because she was the focus in part 5. I mean, Nev Campbell and them were there, but it was about Jenna Ortega and her sister. Especially her sister, Mo.
Well, because I don't think Nev was even in. She wasn't in the entire movie. It was towards the end.
It felt like it was transitioning, and I think now it's paying off thanks to the pop. I mean, but that's just my opinion. What do you think?
I mean, this will probably be the judge if
this will be the ultimate.
If it gets a good reaction, then that kind of lets them know they can keep it going
the direction they're trying to push.
Without.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought up Fast and the Furious, because people think that, they feel like they feel about the first 3, then they feel like, no, it got better after The Rock joined and all that stuff. But it was after the 4th one, before The Rock came, that you could feel like they were deciding, they were going in a new kind of direction. There was this over the top, but the stories was getting more exciting. Like, okay, you found your voice, you found your formula. I think that's equally what's happening with Scream. I feel like after part 5, they're like, they're trying something new. I feel like it's a new generation. And they found a clever way to not make it lame and stale, because the part 4 or part 3, but it was, like you said, it was lame and stale. It was just repeating the same. But they're trying something. I like the fact that in the newer movies right now, they will call out that stuff more. Like having Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox go, because that happened in part 5 through almost the whole movie with. What's Courtney Cox's
Basically, we're not going to go look in the dark anymore.
David Cox Arquette in the beginning of part 5, he was like, so what do you think? Who do you think the killer is? He said, I think it's this guy, the boyfriend. It's him. It's got to be him, because it's the only thing that makes sense. And at the end of the movie, he was like, this motherfucker, he nailed it. And y'all didn't listen. like spoiler, sorry if you haven't watched it, but I know you don't care.
I don't care.
But yeah, David.
You do realize it's a brilliant writing tactic, right? Yeah. Where they literally, it's like the Scooby-Doo effect.
They look at the camera.
They literally tell you who the killer is going to be.
And you don't believe it.
And you don't believe it. And then that's what it is.
And that's what I feel like they're doing. Like, there's a new formula that they're adding in it. Because the Scream movies always would call themselves out and cliches out. That was a part of the gimmick. The
gimmick, yeah.
But now they're like extremely calling shit out.
The sister of the boy that died in the very, very first one, his sister was in number 5, and they had to go talk to her to get all the
Randy, and now his nephews and niece are now, that's all. There's going to always be connections to the originals and stuff, but I feel like this is a transition. We have a new group, and like you said, this is going to be the movie that's really going to be the test if Jenna Ortega's leading power is going to stand. And here's the sad part about it. I feel like Jenna Ortega, because they're not going to make the same mistake twice. I feel like if it's a success, the money that they should have been giving Neve Campbell, they will have, because there's no way in the world you're going to be stupid enough to do it to two different girls.
It just pisses me off even because
producers will try to male or female producers will try to screw you over and save a buck if they
look. I'm
but
all
they
about
do
business.
it to women
I get
more.
it. They do it to women
But
in
they
this
won't
industry.
But they won't do it to Jenna Ortega. I'm telling you, because they will be dumb as hell to do it again. Because I feel like that's why Courtney Cox is gone.
And if she allows it, that's going to be her mistake, because she's just setting the trend.
Yeah, but I feel like the way the internet is set up and stuff, and the way things are, I think there's too much information flowing around online that, like, no, things can catch fire and trend too quick. Let's just say this: if the internet was invented back when Scream 1 came out, they would have hashtag canceled their producers a long time ago. Never would have been getting paid.
Guys, that's the end of this episode of The Rundown. Remember to like this video, become a subscriber, and share. This really does help us out. And click here or here. Thanks for watching.